Now, I said in an earlier report today to remember former South Yorkshire Police Constable Farron Hanson, community order for sending tallywhacker pictures to 2 colleagues and a member of the public. Maybe, although personally I don't think it is, but maybe a fitting punishment for that particular offence. But I'll tell you now, no matter what's wrong with the person, a community order for boning the family Labrador is and never will be an acceptable punishment. But it's exactly what Judge Stephen Climie gave to 36-year-old Peter Edwards at Bournemouth Crown Court this week. Edwards was found to have abused his Labrador, Max, and encouraged or allowed another man, Jonathan Barton, to commit bestiality with his pet as well. Police were tipped off by an anonymous caller from a member, or an anonymous call from a member of the public about Edwards' behaviour, and both Edwards and Barton were caught out after police examined Edwards' mobile phone and computers and found videos of the abuse. Edwards, however, wasn't simply caught with videos of sexy time with Max the Black Lab, but was also caught with child abuse videos and other extreme pornography, including other bestiality videos. It was during the investigation that the police noticed that some of the files were of Edwards' Black Lab. Edwards pleaded guilty of 2 offences of sexual intercourse with an animal and 1 count of encouraging or assisting with the commission of an offence, as well as 3 counts of making indecent images of a child and 3 counts of possession of extreme pornography. However, Judge Stephen Climie heard reports that Edwards had autistic traits and a high level of intelligence but showed bizarre attitude and behaviour. That, along with Edwards' brief telling the court that Edwards had become very isolated, was signed off work and suffered with anxiety and depression, seemed to be exactly what Judge Stephen Climie was looking for in order to not send the sicko to jail, as he was likely to suffer taunting and violence from other inmates, which I believe is exactly what the numbers wings are for, inmates who would be at risk of attack if kept in Gen Pop. But obviously, this highly intelligent man, although showing a bizarre attitude and behaviour, gets basically let off for slipping the dog a bone. Bizarre attitude and behaviour aside, if he was highly intelligent, which I know many autistic folk are, then he should have known that what he was doing was wrong. Also, from my research, it seems that Barton, the second man, who doesn't appear to have any mental impairments, was also given a community order, meaning there are 2 dog fuckers still walking the street in West Dorset. I mean, what the fuck is this all about? Judge Climie told Edwards concerns were expressed to the police that were proved well-founded. There were extreme pornographic images in relation to animals. Some of those proved to be sexual activity involving you and your own dog, and also Mr. Barton, who had also become involved in that sexual activity. You will be subject to a community order for the next 3 years. That may seem like you have avoided the ultimate punishment of going to prison. You're fucking not wrong. But I must consider the extent to which rehabilitation can be achieved in a custodial setting. Yeah, because being in prison rather than out on the streets where you can still get hold of animals would in no way help with these problems, would it? Climie added, because of your peculiarities, I don't mean that in an offensive manner, you would be highly vulnerable as a prisoner. You would be subjected not just to taunting, but also some degree of violence from other inmates, and that would achieve very little in rehabilitating you. Oh, you don't mean that in an offensive manner? Like it matters. The guy fucked a dog and let his mate do the same, and you're worried about offending him? My God, man, what is your fucking problem? Judge Climie gave him a 3-year community order with conditions to complete up to 60 rehabilitation activity days and a 3-month curfew between 8 PM and 6 AM. Yeah, because dogs don't come out during the other times, do they? Fuck you now. He also made a criminal behaviour order for 5 years that Edwards shall not own, possess or look after any dog unless whilst in the company of that dog's owner. Judge Climie also imposed a sexual harm prevention order and put Edwards on the sex offenders register for 5 years. The judge said that if Edwards breached any of those orders, then he would face a starting point of 21 months in jail, although we already know that sex offenders who breach their court orders rarely actually get sent to prison for doing so, and instead the courts wait until they ruin another child's life or animal's life before doing that. 53-year-old Jonathan Barton of Yeovil was sentenced on August the 31st after admitting 2 counts of possessing extreme pornographic images, 1 count of performing an act of intercourse with an animal, and 1 charge of causing or allowing sexual penetration of a person by an animal. So he got fucked by the dog. He was given a 3-year community order as well, with up to 40 days rehabilitation days and 100 hours of unpaid work, as well as a sexual harm prevention order for 5 years. Fucking rehab community orders for disgusting and vile sex offenders is a disgrace and an embarrassment to the justice system. Both sickos knew exactly what they was doing was wrong. Regardless to Edward's autism, they both knew it was wrong, but they chose to partake in tag teaming the family Labrador, and yet Judge Stephen Climie deems them fit to remain in society. Climie, you are a fucking disgrace.